several important terms that you need to understand, starting with elevation. It says an elevation is a certain distance above or below a fixed point. And we use this as a vertical reference above a fixed point. Now, elevation is used to describe the difference in height from that fixed point. The easiest and most obvious elevation that we use all the time is in land or geography, and that is sea level. Sea level is pretty steady throughout the planet, and from there we can go up or down, and that's how we measure the elevation of the land or the geography. There are some elevations on this planet that are actually below sea level. The Netherlands has many areas that are below sea level. The Dead Sea over in Israel is also below sea level. But most elevations are going to be above sea level. Now in Utah, I don't know, average elevation is probably 4,500 feet above sea level. And different locations vary above or below that too. But the point here is that we have elevation as a fixed point, and that's a reference from which we can measure. An architect may specify building elevations based on sea level. Sometimes our plans will actually have the literal elevation above sea level marked, especially on a plot plan that would show the topography of the land. But that's not always real easy to measure from or calculate from up or down. And so on most buildings, engineers will put a fixed point and they will refer to it as 100.00. And this is used as a benchmark. The text here points out that a benchmark is some non-moving point, as on a curve. Now they use 100.00 because it is an easy number to add to or subtract from. So we have that starting point, and it's easy to refer to. So for example, they give the first floor elevation for a building may be 103.50 feet, which would mean that the finished floor level there, first floor, is going to be 3.5 feet higher than the benchmark. And the benchmark, again, is going to be some point there on that property, and we're going to call it 100.00. Now the basement is going to be below that. And in this case, they say elevation 94.00 would indicate that we are 6 feet below that benchmark or that fixed point. This gives us a way to indicate on a plan how deep something is or how high above the ground something is based on the references of that specific building. Now, why do we even get into this? Why don't we just use inches and feet like we always do out in the field? Because that's what plumbers use. Well, that's because surveyors and civil engineers, the people who design these buildings and draw them up, they use elevation measurements based on feet and decimal parts of a foot, like what we're seeing there with our benchmarks. 103.50 feet. That gives us nothing on inches, nothing on fractions of an inch, but it's the way that they measure on a plan. Now they'll measure down to the 100th, so all the way to 0.01, and that's the smallest elevation difference that they're going to indicate on a plan. But again, all of that is in decimal feet. What do we use? Well, again, when we're out there in the field, we're using our measuring tapes with feet, inches, and fractions of an inch. So there's a difference here on the way that these measurements are being described. From the engineers and the plan to those of us who are actually installing, and we have to be able to convert that. Those are important skills for us to have, to be able to convert measurements back and forth, because on a plan, sometimes it may be in decimal feet, and we have to be smart enough to know how to handle that and use it so that we can actually install with our measuring tape. Hey, Plumber Tom here. If you're studying from the Mathematics for Plumbers and Pipe Fitters book, you've come to the right place. I'm glad to help you with your understanding. Don't forget to check in the description below this video for access to books and resources that will help you with your understanding. There are online courses and other things that you can take that will help you prepare for a state test. When you purchase from those links, you're helping me to be able to create more great content. Thanks for watching.